Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Alex Curry here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys. How we doing today?
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, about all I learned from last night's Hard Knocks, episode 4, Jerry lives on Whataburgers.
Yeah.
But you had to wait till the very end of the episode to see that.
Yes.
Not exactly a recipe for long life. I'm not.
Skip, I kind of like last night better than all the rest of them.
You're kidding.
Because of the stories, because you get an opportunity to see the team building, what goes into it. Michael Parsons' mom cooking and things of that nature. You see the guy. I like that, getting the guys together.
Really?
You can build a team like that, Skip. I'm not saying y'all going to win anything.
I think you just predicted we're going to be really good. Thank you.
No, I don't know about all that.
Well, let's get started with Dallas, because amid reports that Dallas would do its due diligence on Cam Newton as a potential backup to Dak Prescott, Jerry Jones said that the team is confident in Cooper Rush in that position. Jerry told a local Dallas radio show that, quote, "It's a high bar when you got the background in it that Cooper's got. Cam Newton is now a free agent and may need to wait until an injury to get a chance to join another roster." So, Shannon, where do you see Cam going from here, and can you see him with the Cowboys?
Did Jerry just say that Cooper Rush and a high bar?
Yeah. Raved about him. He can run every play in the book that Dak can run.
No, he can't. Because if that's the case, you wouldn't have gave $160 million to Dak Prescott. You could have saved yourself about $150 million and paid Cooper Rush.
Remember, they had paid Cooper Rush last year until Andy Dalton became available.
And then they cut him.
What? Yeah, here we go.
But he can run all the plays that Dak, but he couldn't run all the plays that Andy Dalton could run. But that's another story, Skip.
Okay.
Look, I think one of the things that's going to... Look, I talked to someone close to Cam, and what I was told is that Cam would not have a problem being a backup. He says, I don't want that out there, that Cam is opposed to being a backup. Cam wants to get to a good situation, and we'll go from there. We'll take it from there. The problem that I think he runs into Dallas, and maybe he changes his stance because it might impact his employment, is the vaccine. And so if and willing, because Jerry's made it abundantly clear, he wants his guys vaccinated. That was one of the things he voiced that. It didn't know. I wonder what Jerry thinks about this. That's one thing about Jerry Jones. You know exactly where he stands on certain issues, Skip.
Yep.
He'll put it out there. So
well, aren't we about to the point where everybody's going to require it?
I believe so, Skip. Urban Meyer, we knew this, but Urban Meyer voiced it. Yeah, we cut some players that were unvaccinated.
Yeah.
The guy in Buffalo.
He said it was a consideration for the cut. Yes. Yep.
Buffalo, the same thing. We considered cutting play, which means we did. I think everybody's factoring that into it, Skip. And I said this, if it's close, if I got two players and it's close, one's vaccinated, one isn't, guess which one I'm choosing? Because the guy that's unvaccinated could blow up my season. He can impact the entire locker room. That's not to say that vaccinated players can't get it. They're less likely to get it. They're less likely to suffer the severe side effects. And they're less likely to require hospitalization. So that's where we are with that. But, Skip, I do think, he probably would like to look at Dallas if Dallas is interested. I think Houston would be a better fit considering what they have at the quarterback position, Skip. Because I think you and I are in agreement on this. Deshaun Watson is no longer playing for the Houston Texans.
They kept him on the roster, but I'm pretty sure his days are done. And that was his choice, right?
Correct. I'm thinking that he's probably going to be on the commissioner's exempt list, and then they're going to try to work out something behind the scenes to move him somewhere, considering what they can get. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Another thing, Skip, Cam might look. Cam's a good guy. Cam is not a bad guy. Cam doesn't get in trouble.
No.
But maybe his personality, the outgoingness, maybe he has to temper that.
It is a huge natural personality.
It is.
He was born with it.
He is, and that's him. Jerry is the personality for the Cowboys.
Well,
we don't normally say this about an owner, but Jerry Jones is the face of the Cowboys. And when you think Dallas Cowboys, you don't think a particular player, you think of his owner. And it's very seldom that you see that. You go back to maybe Al Davis and Mr. Steinbrenner, George Steinbrenner. Other than that, Skip, it's always been the best player, whatever the sport is, that's the face of the team. But that's not how it worked with the Cowboys. So maybe Cam needs to temper. It's a big blow, Skip. This is the second time Cam has been released. He got released by Carolina unexpectedly. He got released by the Patriots. I don't think anybody saw this coming. Maybe but Mac Jones played extremely well. And I'm listening to the reports coming out of New England. What was one of the biggest turning points, Skip? Those 3 days that Cam Newton was not there to practice. And I said it. Cam, you gave this kid an opening. The vaccinations, quietly behind the scenes, there are a lot of rumblings about being vaccinated. Hold on, you got this last year. You ain't learned your lesson. You might blow my entire season up. So I think that had a lot to do with it. Hell, you're looking at a guy across from you, Skip. Hell, that's how I got my chance. Clarence K got hurt. Orson Mobley got hurt. Chris Verhulst got hurt. Coach Reed said, well, what do you think about this? They put me in the game. I wasn't great, but I did. They're like, hold on. We might be on to something.
7th round pick.
Guess what? Guess who kept starting? Guess who ended up getting released?
Guess who went to the Hall of Fame?
That's how it worked.
Okay.
I would have never got an opportunity at the tight end position. I was still a wide receiver. So Cam opened the door. The kid walked through. It wasn't like the kid was playing basketball. People were like, oh, they get no. This kid was playing outstanding. This was a neck-and-neck race. But Cam made it a neck-and-neck race because of some of the things that he did.
He did.
But I think the Cowboys would be an option, but I like the Houston Texans as a better option.
Okay. Let me get my fandom out of the way first. I'm obviously just born and raised a Cowboy fan.
Yes.
So I don't think objectively or sometimes clearly when it comes to my team.
You don't.
But at the end of the show yesterday, when I believe it was Josina Anderson who tweeted that, hey, the Cowboys are at least going to do their due diligence and take a hard look at Cam's availability.
Right.
It just hit me bolt out of the blue where sometimes you hear an idea and it's like, aha.
Right.
Bingo. Love it. Because I've always been a Cam fan, but he's not for everybody.
Right.
But it feels like he would be perfect for my team called America's team, almost like he was born to play in Dallas, Texas for the Dallas Cowboys. All of a sudden, we're down to Cooper Rush. It looked like it was going to be Garrett Gilbert, and they tried to force Ben DiNucci in the mix, and those two are gone now, and it came down to Cooper Rush is back, and he's back in good graces, and Jerry on his radio show 2 days ago raved about Cooper Rush, as you just pointed out. I got reams of quotes here, but I don't even want to read them because they go in one ear and out the other because it's Cooper Rush.
Right.
And even though he played well against those Houston Texans 2 preseason games back, in the one Sunday, which was morning here in L.A. that I watched, Cooper Rush was not very good and was so unimpressive that I remained unconvinced about Cooper Rush as the backup quarterback. Andy Dalton was a verified, bona fide, trustable backup quarterback last year, so I was very happy with that, and I trusted that going into a season when, obviously, he was called upon.
Correct.
If Cam Newton were called upon, hypothetically, for these Dallas Cowboys, I think he would be a great fit.
So do I.
I think he would light up to the stage, and the stage would love him.
He'd be a better fit than Cooper Rush.
Okay, he would. Help me out here. I'm just going to boil it down to, hypothetically, if Cam had to play, let's do 7 games this year, and Cooper Rush had to play 7 games, who would do better? Who would have the better record?
Cam.
It's Cam. It's not even close.
Right.
I can also say that in several other situations about starting quarterbacks. But it just, listen, Jerry is the ultimate showman. As we had that quote from an anonymous agent last week. Nobody runs the business of pro football better than Jerry Jones because he knows how to sell tickets.
Yes.
It's all about the marquee value, and he places that as a priority to me above winning football games.
I agree.
Right?
Yes.
So Cam fits the bill because Cam is as great a showman quarterback as we've ever had. I enjoy watching all of his antics. I don't think Belichick liked it because it's not the Patriot way.
Right.
And it was always square peg and round hole, and it never quite into the...
It almost looks like Coach Belichick tolerated it.
He did.
He didn't like it. It looked like he tolerated it.
Well, he didn't have any choice for a while because he was stuck with no Brady, and now he's looking for Jared Stidham, and that was a swing and a miss, I believe. And then out of heaven falls this kid.
They cut Hoyer too, though, Skip.
Well, they got Brian Hoyer, but they cut him, and they're going to bring him back, and I assume he's just going to be the backup, and he is a qualified backup.
No threat to Mac Jones.
No threat. Okay, so that brings me to threat to Dak Prescott. Dak is now making $75 million. We're going to talk about this later. He's got like a dozen national TV commercials, and he was talking on Hard Knocks about another little project that hit him that I might pursue. I could make millions off this. He's just fine. He runs the show. He has now become the face of the franchise. And in fact, I would like Cam there to actually spur him on a little bit, because just having Cam in the quarterback room, Cam is a made man. Not that he's won a Super Bowl, but he did play in one.
Right.
And he is an MVP.
Correct.
And I would like the fact that Cam would be looking over Dak's shoulder in a good way, because Dak would have to look up to Cam, because Cam's accomplished more in this league than Dak has to this point.
Yes.
So I like it that Cam could help just by mere presence and force of personality. I think he could take Dak up another level, because Dak would have to lock in a little bit more. Sometimes it is a country club atmosphere, and they all do get a little too comfortable playing for Jerry Jones, who loves his players to a fault.
Right.
So I just like the fit of Cam. I would trust Cam to win games if called upon. And what happened with Dak Prescott? He was all-time durable, and then all of a sudden he went to questionably fragile, because it took 2 surgeries to fix the ankle, and now we're still dealing with this mysterious arm injury that I still don't know. It's still unexplained to me exactly what it was.
You saw him throwing last night. It didn't look all that impressive to me.
It was not that impressive. Okay, so could it plague him going forward? It could. Could his ankle? He hadn't been under fire the whole camp. I don't know what's going to happen. Would I sleep a little better if I had Cam Newton as my 1A quarterback? I'm not even going to call him a backup. I think you need somebody in place, because it's not Cooper Rush. And I'm not disrespecting Cooper Rush. He's a good kid, and he's been around for 4 years.
But Skip, if you thought that much of Cooper Rush, you wouldn't have signed Andy Dalton in the first place. And once you signed Andy Dalton, you wouldn't have cut Cooper Rush if you thought so highly of him. So this notion that, oh, it's a high bar, I'm like, you need to stop, Jerry.
And if Jerry, in fact, wants to market his team as his #1 priority, Cam's marketable, man. Just having him in the mix, it's just interesting.
And he likes names. Jerry Jones normally always goes after the big names. He went after Deion. Deion was a great player, but Deion had the name. He likes names, Skip. Anybody that's out there that got a name, oh, I get him. No matter what. Skip, Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy was the best defensive lineman. He had a checkered history, a past. We know what he did, but he was the best D lineman out there. Jerry's like, I want him.
He did. I did not want him.
You did not want him.
Jerry wanted him.
Yes.
And Jerry wanted him because he was a big name.
16 sacks. First team All-Pro.
I agree. I just like the idea of having 2 quarterbacks who are 3-letter, 1-name quarterbacks, Dak and Cam, D-A-K and C-A-M. I just like that. It fit. It's one of those ideas where you say, that works to me. Well, would Jerry do it? The problem Cam is facing is we are way late in the game right now. I saw Adam Schefter on ESPN this morning say that the probability, I'm sort of paraphrasing how I said it, but the odds are that he's going to have to wait a while, because everybody's in concrete now with what they've done through camp.
Skip, they've gone through a camp. And they've got their plays in. So Cam would have, he's behind the 8 ball of learning a new system. Also, did you hear what Adam said? He said teams were very reluctant, very hesitant to bring players in that were unvaccinated.
Well, that's a whole nother, that has to be dealt with right here, right now.
Skip, people don't want to talk about it. But it's probably moving forward going to be a part of your being employed in the National Football League. Now, they've required their personnel, everybody that works in the league office and all that stuff, to get vaccinated. It's coming. In the NFLPA, you can fight it all you want to. But it's coming, and you know it's coming.
Got it. Bingo. Now, to your point, Houston Texans, is it a more likely scenario and fit? I got it. But I don't love it for Cam Newton. He's better than that situation. That's a sad sack situation. That's the bottom of the barrel right now, right?
It is. They're bad.
They're bad. Team. Could they be the worst team?
Close.
Highly possibly the worst team. Is he better than Tyrod? I say yes. But would they go to Cam immediately as a starter? I doubt it.
I doubt it. No, Skip, he doesn't know the offense. They couldn't.
So do you want Cam holding a clipboard or wearing a headset in Houston for the Texans? With the whole Deshaun cloud hanging over the franchise, I don't love it. So this brings me to Cam's legacy at this point. And he's not finished yet, as your source told you. He's not ready to go home. I saw another anonymous quote on ESPN. One coach said, Where does he go next? TV. Well, I don't think he's ready for TV.
I don't either.
He's 32 years of age.
Correct.
And the last time I saw him in a game, preseason, he was 8 out of 9.
Right.
And it looked pretty good to me. It's just that Mac Jones looked a little better. It wasn't that Cam lost the job. It's that Mac Jones just said, I'm going to take this job.
Right.
And he got his opening, as you said, and he got that one joint scrimmage against the Giants where he went 35 of 40, and that seemed like that tilted the playing field. Okay, so we look at Cam's career. Is it a Hall of Fame career? It's close, but I'm going to say no at this point. I don't know.
No.
Well, it's just, okay, he's 3-4 in the playoffs, but he did have that one just astonishing, sensational, off-the-charts season in 2015. He was obviously the MVP, first-team All-Pro. He went 35 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, and yet that was the only time in his career he went over 30 touchdown passes. So he's not a big touchdown pass guy. QBR has never loved him. He's never been the most accurate passer. So, again, 3-4 in playoff games. Not terrible, but obviously not Hall of Fame great. And his starting record now, all-time starting record, is 75, 63, and 1. Pretty good, but not great, okay? So, and touchdowns, interceptions, 190 for his career, touchdown passes to 118 interceptions. Pretty high on the interception side. Yet, he scored 70 rushing touchdowns. That's the most of any quarterback ever. It's between him and our guy, Michael Vick, greatest running quarterback. They're two different flavors of obviously, one breakaway, one run your tail over, right?
Yes.
And again, has Cam seen his better days as a runner? Yeah, I'll give you that.
But let me ask you this, Skip.
Yeah.
I think Cam wants to be a starter at some point in time again. What gives him the best opportunity to get a chance to play to show that I can still play? Being a backup in Dallas and possibly never getting an opportunity to show anything, or going to Houston, even though we know it's a bad situation, because for the most part, a lot of people's like, well, look at that, look what Cam had last year.
Yep.
Brady left. Brady said, man, y'all ain't got no talent here. Man, let me go find me a team that got some talent. Some talent, they might not have won, but they got more talent than this.
I agree with your point of view. Belichick was done with Brady, but Brady was also done with what was around him. Like, you're kidding.
Right.
You want me to try to rise above this?
Skip, when you go out there and you replace both of your wide receivers, you replace both of your tight ends, you bring in a new running back, you replace your right tackle, you get guys opting in. Skip, in free agency, you signed Matthew Judon. That lets you know you were lacking in a lot of areas. You knew that. You addressed those issues. People want to make it seem like, given the circumstances, do you believe Brady would have got to the Super Bowl with that level of talent that he had in New England? Hell no. Brady knew it.
He knew it. Belichick did not know. Belichick still thought he could go alone, go solo. So we'll see how this plays out now. But I would like to see Cam get one more shot as a starter. And I don't know where that would be best, but I'll even go you this. Let's go to your Denver Broncos. I brought this up yesterday that I don't hate Teddy Bridgewater, but I don't love Teddy Bridgewater. He's just somewhere in the middle to me. He's just pretty good. And he'll always be just pretty good, and you'll always be thinking of who's your next. You know, how can we replace Teddy Bridgewater? He'll be just fine. He might be good enough to get them in the playoffs because they are so loaded around him. They are loaded on defense, and their weaponry around him is pretty good.
They're really good,
Okay? So I got that. And Teddy will never embarrass you or humiliate you. He'll always be Teddy Bridgewater. But I could make the case that if Cam were your starting quarterback this year, you would win 1 or 2 more games than Teddy could win. Because Cam might win you a couple by himself.
I think the thing is with Teddy Bridgewater, Skip, very rarely, if ever, will he win a game he's not supposed to win. But he won't lose the games he shouldn't lose. I think that's what Skip, he's here. He's not going to get you up there like, man, that joker beat Green Bay. Just last year, I give you a prime example, Skip, last year against the Chiefs. Had him dead to right.
Had him.
That's the game. Like, Teddy went to KC and beat Pat Mahomes.
Okay, I got it. And I'll never forget that game, 2019, at New Orleans on a Sunday night when there's no Drew Brees, and Teddy steps in and beats my guy Dak 12-10.
Yeah.
So Teddy managed only 4 field goals.
Right.
And guess what?
Right.
He didn't turn the ball over, and it was good enough, right? Because he's got a defense behind
He had that one good game. Remember, they went on the road to Seattle.
That was big because nobody saw that coming.
Right. And he played unbelievable in that game.
Okay, so you'll get some of that. And he did make a Pro Bowl.
Yes,
Teddy did one year in Minnesota.
He had Minnesota primed to win a playoff game.
And Blair Witch Project happened. Okay, so I got that. So I can make all these cases for Cam, but we're late in the game, and Denver's not going to throw up its hands and say, come on up here, let's go. You're going to be our starter. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, Skip, it's hard for that position. It's not like a running back because, running back is the easiest position. Not that it's easy, but the transition because it's just natural instinct.
Yep.
Quarterback is verbiage, hearing it, regurgitating it, going through progressions. Everybody run the same play, Skip, but it's called something different. How quickly can I relearn what I've learned and equate it to where I'm at right now? And that's the thing that Cam's up against. But I believe Cam still has football left to play. Will he be 2015? I don't believe he has to be.
So how did Jerry make his money? By plunging in the oil field. Some hits and some big misses, lost his shirt, and then struck it rich.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is a plunger by nature. This would require a plunge on Cam right now because you'd have to cut Cooper Rush on the fly.
I mean, Skip, Cooper Rush ain't making a whole lot of money. You let that man stay on. You let him be the third-string quarterback for $1.5 million. It ain't like Skip ain't like he's making $7 million a year. And it's not like you're going to be paying Cam $10 million a year. Cam is going to be on a minimum contract.
Right, and they just restructured Ty Smith so they could have a little bit of flexibility, and I think they do.
Right.
So they could do it, but it would take Jerry plunging on it.
Right.
And we are countdown 8 days from opening night at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Skip, I don't really look at this as a plunge because it's not significant money, and you're not expecting Cam to come in and be Cam of 2015.
No.
You talk about a guy that's going to come in on a minimum contract and going to be the backup. He's the unquestioned backup. Dak Prescott is entrenched in concrete.
He is. No, I got it. You just throw Cam into a new playbook and a new offense and hope that he's veteran enough, he just figure it out.
Right, and hopefully by the time, if he has to play, he's had enough time to learn the playbook. You let him run a play or two here or there with the starters.
Hey, he'd be a quick study. He's been around.
Yes.
He's been in different systems.
Right.
Yeah,
all right.
It's going to be interesting to
Jerry.
see how Cam's situation plays out. But we've got more on what Cam Newton's release means for Bill Belichick's reputation. Plus, we'll get into the latest news around Ben Simmons' future in Philly. Don't go anywhere.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy, and I won't back down.
Confronting performance concerns has historically been every guy's worst nightmare. Trekking to the doctor's office, another awkward conversation followed by a long wait at the pharmacy. Thankfully, help is here at BlueChew.com, offering the first chewables with the same active ingredients as well-known alternatives. So you'll be 100% confident every time. Plus, your online consultation is free, and delivery arrives in discreet packaging. No one knows. Here's a special deal for our listeners. Try it for free when you use promo code Fox Sports at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code Fox Sports to receive your first month free.
And I won't back down.
Ben Simmons has reportedly told Philadelphia's front office that he no longer wants to be a 76er and he does not intend to report to training camp. According to a Western Conference exec, the all-star point guard has eyes on 3 California teams as a possible destination. So, Shannon, how does this play out?
Sacramento in California?
Yeah. Are they in the mix?
I just don't know how the Lakers, first of all, I don't know how the Lakers pull this off. Because you're not giving up Anthony Davis. You're definitely not giving up LeBron James. And I'm not so sure Daryl Morey wants Russell Westbrook. So the Lakers can't put together a package that will satisfy Daryl Morey. Okay, let's go to the Clippers. Are you giving up Paul George or Kawhi? Because nothing else matters. You can't give me Marcus Morris. You can't give me Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard.
It's a big no on Kawhi. It's 50-50 on Paul George, but I believe that Kawhi would prefer Paul George over Ben Simmons.
Okay, now we go to Golden State.
Yep.
You giving up Draymond and Clay? I don't think Bob Myers is going to want to do that. Now, I also saw another report that says he'd be willing to, go anywhere. I don't know if that's true, Skip, but it's just time for Ben Simmons to exit the 76ers. I don't know. And Skip, after Doc said this, Skip, he's not going back. You can't ask Doc Rivers, do you think you can win a championship with Ben Simmons as your starting point guard? And the coach said, it's not something I can answer. I don't know right now.
I don't know the answer to that right now, said Doc Rivers to that question.
Then you ask your superstar, what do you think the turning point of the game was? It was when we, a layup.
He said, I don't know how to say it, but it was when we had an open shot and made just one free throw. Because it wasn't Ben who made the free throw.
Right, but it was Ben that had the layup.
Right.
So I said, I don't know how he goes back after that.
I agree.
You got basically the head coach and the superstar saying that it was your fault. He became unplayable. It wrecked his confidence because remember, Skip, early on they asked, well, Doc, you know, you think about taking Ben out? You don't know basketball if you think I will take Ben Simmons out of the game. And then 4 games later, he took Ben Simmons out of the game. It was over.
Right.
He had to go.
Got it.
And so in a situation like that also, Skip, Ben Simmons considered himself a superstar. Joel Embiid is a superstar. It's hard to keep these two guys together for an extended period of time because somebody's going to have to take a lesser role. We saw the bickering ultimately break up the Lakers. We saw what happened in Cleveland with Kyrie and LeBron.
Yeah, you're doing Shaq and Kobe.
Shaq and Kobe, right. We saw what happened with the Lakers.
Yes,
we saw what happened with LeBron and Kyrie. We saw what happened in OKC. Skip, it's hard to keep two guys together. And it seems to me the 76ers have hitched their wagon to Joel Embiid.
I agree.
And Ben's like, you know what? Y'all blame me for everything. Let me go ahead and let me go somewhere else. Y'all do whatever y'all can do and just let me go in peace.
Okay. Got it. But here's the problem for the 76ers right now. They have burned themselves. They have shot themselves in both feet with those two comments. Both those comments. They're such bridge burners that I do not blame Ben Simmons or your man, Rich Paul, his agent, for saying that's enough. We're done. We're out. We're not coming to camp. We will hold out if you don't move us now. And yet, once that becomes public, as it really became public yesterday, thanks to a Philadelphia Inquirer report on it, that it's done. Now you've lost all of your leverage.
You got no leverage.
The rest of the league's sitting back saying, well, what will you give us to take Ben Simmons off your hands, right? You got an update?
Go ahead.
What is it?
Go ahead.
Is it big?
Go ahead.
Is it something on Cam?
No. About Ben Simmons.
It's about Ben Simmons? Well, say it.
Go ahead. I'm going to hear your point. I'm going to hear your point first.
Okay. So I remain a big Ben Simmons fan. You do not. I'm going to reiterate my points. Rookie of the year.
He was.
Next 3 years in a row, all-star, all-star, all-star. Twice all-defensive team.
Yeah, twice. Back-to-back years. 1
year, 2018, he was first team All-NBA because he led the NBA in steals at 6 feet, 10 inches tall. He made it hard on little Trae Young in the Atlanta series. He is so long and so strong and so agile. He's just hard to get around and through and over, especially for Trae, who's about 5'11", maybe. Is that what we give him?
Yeah, I'll give him that.
All right, and then I'm going to remind you, I'm going to hark back to this one game with no Joel Embiid. It was February 15th at Utah. Ben Simmons made this statement. He scored 42 points with 9 boards and 12 assists because he can flat out pass the basketball. And he was 15 of 26 from the field against Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. And Ben Simmons in that game made 12 of 13 free throws. So don't tell me he can't. It's all in there. He's got the demons. He needs more psychology than coaching. Again, some guys just don't have it. They just are naturally not good free throw shooters. Their motion is unfixable. Their touch, their feel, whatever it is. He looks good at the free throw line as far as on his left-handed, but that looks good to me. That looks fixable if you can start in here. He got the demons last year, and he ran from the free throw line.
But Skip, I don't believe he can correct those. I don't believe those demons can leave him in Philly.
You could be right.
Look at a guy like Darren Waller.
Yeah.
He was in Baltimore.
He was.
He had to leave Baltimore, go to Oakland. Now look at him.
Well, he had off the field.
Right, but I'm saying
yes.
I don't believe he could have corrected what was going on off the field
Fair
in
enough.
Baltimore.
Like change scenery.
Right.
Yeah, like,
He got to change the scenery, got a new look, outlook, and now he's one of the 3 best tight ends in all of football.
Okay.
Maybe Ben going somewhere else. Maybe this gives him an opportunity. And he's like, you know what? This is what I need. Okay. Now we can see the real Ben Simmons and what everybody thought he was, Skip, because he was supposed to be that combination. Magic, LeBron. And, yeah, he's an outstanding. He's the first guard to finish in the top 3 in the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year since Gary Payton won it. So that just shows how special he is on that end.
Can be.
But I just think the thing is, Skip, for a guy on the offensive end, a point guard, Skip, you can't become unplayable in the fourth quarter. You just can't.
No. Now, I'd like to see him make more than 59% of his career free throws.
Right.
And I would like to see him have the guts or the confidence or the faith in himself to shoot a few more threes, because we see the workout videos and he's just draining threes. Because I know he can.
Yeah,
he's gifted.
The dude made like 5 in a row, 6 in a row. I'm like, bro.
Just do it.
Yeah.
You need somebody to light your fire, to say, you can do this, just keep shooting, and they'll start going in. He needs to see a couple go down, and then he'll be just fine.
Right.
Because if you added that to the arsenal, whew.
But you got to shoot him, though, Skip.
Got to shoot him. With
none of them go in if you don't shoot him.
Some faith. So, again, there was the one year, that monster year, 2018, when just inside of the three-point line, he shot 58% from the field, so he was making even a few jump shots.
Yeah.
And then last year, it dwindled all the way down to 39%. So he was losing faith in himself from inside the three-point line.
Right.
And he became just a lane scorer,
right.
You know, just anything up. And he's got great agility around the rim. We know that, right? Mm-hmm. So the point is, I agree he needs a change of scenery, but the Sixers are just, pardon my language, they're just screwed right now. They are stuck.
Skip, you had an... Now, I don't know.
They had their chances.
I don't know if
the
Kevin Fertitta was going to go through this, because James Harden, it's like, okay, you want Harden? I don't know if the owner of the Rockets were going to help Daryl Morey by shipping James Harden. But can you imagine James Harden and Joel Embiid in that pick and roll, Skip?
Well, it'd be a lot better than the situation you have right now. Yeah.
But I just think the thing is, Skip, look, the Sixers, like...
And it was... I guess it was proposed Ben Simmons straight up for James.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how the details
They should have jumped on that with both feet.
Well, they should have. Now, that's an easy hindsight. I still believe that all the way up to Josh Harris, the owner, and Daryl Morey, too, I don't think they want to give up Ben Simmons. I think they sort of all came to their senses after the pain wore off of that blown lead to the Hawks and losing in Game 7. It was at home, right? It was in Philly. Yeah, they lost at home. God.
I disagree. I believe they realized that they tried to make it work. Doc says, look, we got 2 superstar players. We're going to make it work. But it seems to me they relied more heavily on Joel Embiid, and rightfully so, Skip. But Ben Simmons, like, you know, I'm an all-star. I'm an all-NBA player also. I need some love, too. And it seems to the process of them going more towards Joel Embiid took Ben out of a little comfort zone. Because, Skip, if you think about it, Ben Simmons plays his best basketball when Joel Embiid is not in the game.
Yep.
You look remember that playoff game, Skip?
Yep.
When Jared Dudley challenged him?
Do I?
And then boom, boom, he did that.
Well, he just took the game over. Right. He was that guy.
He was that guy. So now you're looking at it like, damn, if we can just get this with Joel, ooh, we got something. This is a 1-2 punch.
For a fact, I have a high-placed Sixers source who 2 years ago told me that all the way to the top, to ownership, this is pre-Daryl Morey, but the ownership, that they lean more toward Ben Simmons for the long haul than Joel. And I fought back. I said, that's wrong. Because, you know, I'm a huge fan of Joel's. And I said, I'm sorry, as good as Ben Simmons is, no, that guy is better and will always be better if he can stay healthy and happy. You know,
that's the thing.
Okay, so now they're to the point where I think it scares them to give up Ben Simmons, because I think they still believe that he can become a superstar.
Skip, for it to get like this, something had to have happened before. It's hard for me to believe. And yeah, I agree with you. the two things that were uttered by the head coach and the star player are deal breakers.
They are.
You don't come back from that. But I think it started to sour before that. And we're going to have to do some digging. We got to do some research because I believe something happened before that made Ben Simmons try to turn sour. Did they try to trade him before? Was there something going on behind the scenes that the Sixers didn't want out that somehow got back to Ben Simmons? And he's like, oh, this is what y'all think of me.
Well, and remember, it's now double jeopardy because Rich Paul is indicating, I want Maxey out of there too, who was a sort of a revelation for the Sixers. So now two of his clients are saying, we're done with you. So you're double burned, and you can't win this one. I don't see a win out of this for the Sixers.
Well, what about what about Sacramento? You take De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, and a first rounder for Ben Simmons.
Does Sacramento want to do that? Does Sacramento say, will we wind up with a good player, even a great player, on a bad team? If you're taking away our two best younger players, not
you don't seem to be going nowhere with them.
I would buy that.
I mean, I like De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is 25 and 7. Buddy Hield can shoot the lights out of the players. Is an 18 to 20 point a night guy.
Well, for your Lakers, I would have taken Buddy Hield over Russell Westbrook. That's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother story. But plus, Skip, you get a guy that's tremendous in the pick and roll, which De'Aaron Fox is, and you get a guy that's a shooter that can space the floor, so you can't collapse it on Joel Embiid. I like that. If you can keep Tobias Harris, Danny Green, Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox, Joel Embiid, Skip, that's something. Now, all things being equal, I'd rather have Dame Lillard in Philly if I'm Daryl Morey. But I just don't know at the start of the season if you can get Dame.
Would Ben be happy going to Sacramento? Would Rich Paul be happy with his client in Sacramento? Probably not. Will they fight that if it's on the front?
But Skip, if you look around, where is he going to go? I mean, Minnesota. I mean, with Cat and Ben Simmons and Anthony Edwards, is that a formidable big three?
Sure.
But I don't know if he wants to be in Minnesota. Hell, no, nobody wants to be in Minnesota.
That's the problem.
KG was really the only one that wanted to stay, and he realized he had stayed too long.
Well, Kevin Love hung in there for a while.
Until he realized, like, man, I'm getting 28 and 22, and we're the 11th seed.
They hadn't made the playoffs. They didn't make it one time.
Not even come close. And then all of a sudden he goes there, and we look at Kevin Love as a different player. He might be a borderline Hall of Famer now.
Maybe. I say good luck to
Skip, this is a bad situation. It might get messier before it gets better.
Agreed.
All right, guys, we're moving back to the NFL because the release of Cam Newton caught a lot of people off guard yesterday, including former Patriots cornerback Asante Samuel. The two-time Super Bowl champion called Bill Belichick's decision, quote, cold-blooded, and went on to say that without Tom Brady, Belichick is, quote, just another coach. So, Shannon, how much truth is in this?
Skip, why is everybody shocked that Coach Belichick cut Cam Newton? The man cut a guy the night before the Super Bowl with his family already in town. And the guy that he activated never played in the game. He cut Lawyer Malloy on a Tuesday, 4 days before the start of the season. Trading Richard Seymour, releasing Willie McGinnis. I mean, why are we surprised by this? Coach, he's callous. He's cold-blooded. He does whatever he believes. And it only matters what he believes, Skip, because Mr. Kraft is giving him total control. It only matters what he believes as far as the team. I believe I'm doing it in the best interest of the team. No matter how callous and cold-hearted it may be, this is what I'm going to do. So when I step back from it, I'm surprised that Cam wasn't the starter. But once you look at his history, look at Coach Belichick's history since he's been there. He'll get you up out of there. He ain't got no look. Did you see how the way the man treated Tom Brady? He treated Tom Brady like that. So what the hell you think he give a less than a you-know-what about Cam? So I'm not surprised by this. No. Now, I'm gonna give Asante Samuel a little pushback on this. All coaches, what was Coach Walsh before Joe Montana? Chuck Noll before Terry Bradshaw. If you win multiple championships, more times than not, unless you, Joe Gibbs, unless you're Bill Parcells, you normally have Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I think those are the only two guys, Skip, that won Super Bowls, multiples, without being Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Was Parcells and Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs won 3 with 3 different quarterbacks, and Parcells won 2 with 2 different quarterbacks.
Yep.
But everybody else that won multiple, Skip, look at their quarterbacks. And look, the all-time winningest coach is Coach Landry. He went from Johnny Unitas to Bob Greasy to Dan Marino. Well, damn, you would say 3 first.
You mean Don Shula.
Don Shula, yeah.
Right.
You would think, Skip, he gonna win a bunch of games, right?
Yep.
Look at Coach Lombardi, who his quarterback was all those years. Bart Starr. So this notion that he would be an ordinary, Skip, we'll never know. Because do we believe Tom Brady would have still been the Tom Brady if he had not had Coach Belichick in the beginning? I think they go hand in hand. But we've gotten so accustomed to, like, it's got to be one or the other.
Yep.
Either Coach Belichick or it's Tom Brady. And I'm not so sure, Skip, they would have thrived had it not been for the other one. But Coach Belichick's going to have to prove, now he upgraded the talent, that he can win without Brady. People say, well, look what Brady did. Every publication that I've read, the most talented roster in football is who, Skip? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
But a year ago, they weren't saying that.
But, Skip, so it's hard. So, in other words, Tom made them more talented. Yeah, okay, you add the quarterback. But Chris Godwin was still there. He was the Pro Bowl. Pro Football Focus graded Chris Godwin the year Tom Brady got there, the best receiver in football. Yep. Mike Evans, 7 straight 1,000-yard receivers season.
7 and 9.
Skip, that was the quarterback play. But they were still talented. See, what you're trying to do is say they weren't talented before Tom Brady.
No, they were. That's why he chose them.
Yes.
And we all were like, really?
Right.
You're going to go to the Succaneers? And he's saying, they ain't the Succaneers.
And when you get down there, Skip, they had Tom Brady is one of eight top 100 players on that team. So, and we know Gronk, and Gronk is a 100th anniversary tight end.
Okay.
So we know what he represents. Okay. That's all I'm saying, Skip.
But remember, at Tampa, Tom Brady changed the culture almost overnight in the middle of a pandemic. He taught them how to do it the Patriot way in Tampa Bay.
I'll give you all that. But he didn't make them more talented.
No.
The talent was there.
It just thrived in and around Tom Brady.
Yes, he gave them, once you start winning and you see like, oh, okay, this is what we need to do, you play better. But Skip, Tom Brady has had 16 of his 19 seasons had top 10 scoring defenses. Coach Belichick deserves some credit for building this roster. Not only coaching it, but he put this roster together. So I'm going to give him some credit. I don't know if he will have been just another coach, and I know people will go say, well, look at what he did in Cleveland. Skip, normally it takes his guy a second time around in order to be successful. Okay. You look at Mike Shanahan, you look at Pete Carroll, some of these guys that have won, not the first time, but the second. Pete, it was the third time because he was at the Jets, the Patriots, and then Seattle with a stop in between, college in between.
Mike McCarthy in Dallas? No. Well, that's where you're going. I'm like, second time around?
No.
Maybe not. Okay. I'm going to give Bill Belichick this, and I have from the start. All-time great defensive coach. If you want to call him sort of the defensive coordinator of the Patriot dynasty, that's what he was, because he coaches the defense. I know we've had in name only all kinds of coordinators all the way down to now his son. He is the driving force behind the defense, and I think he spends the bulk of his time.
I think Brandon Spikes might be calling the plays now.
Well, whatever. But
but it's
just from Belichick.
Right. He
spends the bulk of his week on the defensive side of the ball. Yet I stand by what I've told you from the start. I will give him 25% of the credit for the dynasty, and 75% goes to the guy who's now in Tampa. And I'm probably low on that.
No, you're too high.
You brought it up, and I'm going to walk right through the door that you opened.
Okay.
In Cleveland, first time around as a head coach, he had losing records 4 out of 5 years. 4 out of 5. Then he comes to New England, and he has another losing record at 5-11. His first year in New England. Yep. Drew Bledsoe's the quarterback. And then he opens that 2001 season by losing at Cincinnati, which was about to go 6-10 that year. And then he lost at home to the Jets. So he is now 0-2 in the 2001 season. And during that Jets game, as you know, fate struck. heaven opened.
Mo Lewis struck.
He struck. And that was the end of Drew Bledsoe and the start of Super Bowl history. Dynasty started because Tom Brady was able to start the next game, which happened to be at home against Peyton Manning's Indianapolis Colts, and they won 44-13, and they were off to the races that didn't stop for the next, 19 years, right? Okay, so if we go back to what happened in Cleveland, what happened the first year in New England, and the first 2 games of 2001, Bill Belichick's record as a head coach was 41-55 pre-Brady starting. 41-55. Once Brady took over, they wound up together as a duo. They won 219 games and lost 64. 219-64. Pre-Brady, 41-55. Something happened, and the biggest difference was Tom Brady. And it wasn't just his play. It was his clutch play late in games, and it was his leadership, because even you have finally come around and admitted Tom had to become the buffer between Belichick and the locker room. That Belichick kept doing it old school, my way or the highway way. And Brady kept telling the locker room, it's okay, it's okay. We're going to win. We're going to figure this out. And a lot of teams would have mutinied on Bill Belichick without Tom Brady saying, calm down, we got this, right? And he did it year after year after year. And Belichick got away with being the scoundrel that he could be, the cold-blooded tyrant.
You can do that as long as you're winning.
Okay.
The reason why none of his proteges, his disciples, haven't had success, because they try to coach like that, but they're not winning. Once Coach Belichick won, then everything else will fall into place. You can coach Tom Brady like you coach everyone else because you won. You can say things, you can do things, Skip, because you won. But what Coach Belichick saw when he was the defensive coordinator of the New York Jets, they didn't have a Joe Montana. They didn't have a Dan Marino. They didn't have a John Elway, but they were able to win Super Bowls.
With the Giants?
With the Giants. Because what he saw, Skip, is that if we just get competent quarterback play, if I play outstanding defense, we'll have a chance. And what did Phil Simms do? Not turn the football over. What did Hostetler do? Not turn the football over.
Listen, Phil was really good. Remember that one against your guy? He just lit it out.
But Skip, what did he say? Just don't turn it over.
No, he didn't.
We're gonna play. We're gonna play lights.
Hostetler was more just keep it between the lines.
The K-gun, Skip. Remember, Buffalo was going up and down the field on everybody.
That was about the defense. I agree, and it was all about shorten the game. Let's run it and hold on to it.
So for Brady's first couple of years, Skip, you're looking at Brady, the finished product. But Brady wasn't like this in his first couple of years. He relied heavily on that defense and running the football.
Those 6 Super Bowls he won was 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime.
But in order for you to win a game, the game's got to be close late.
Okay, so I'll give you some hand-in-hand. You know, scratching each other's back. I got that. But I'm going to remind everybody, in the first Eli Super Bowl, and I'm going to get to Asante Samuel's role in this in just a second, but first Eli Super Bowl, Brady did what Brady usually does, always does. He went 80 yards in 12 plays, hit Randy Moss with a 6-yard touchdown pass, and they went up 14-10 with 2:42 left. For an all-time great defensive coordinator in Bill Belichick against Eli Manning, if you stop them on the kickoff at the 17, so they have to go 83 yards and score a touchdown, you're up 4, so they need a touchdown with about 2:25 left in the game. That should be Belichick's feast. You know, he should say, watch this. I'm going to shut down Eli Manning. And Eli went 83 yards in 12 plays. And, you know, it took the helmet catch by Tyree. Okay, I got it. But then he hit Plaxico with...
Well, it came with a bomb blitz, Skip. And when you come with the bomb blitz 101, the guy playing inside leverage, Plaxico runs the fade, it's a touchdown.
He did, and it was a touchdown, and they won 17-14. But there was a play in question right before the Tyree helmet catch, and it was featuring Asante Samuel. And so just to be fair, could we see that play? Because you want to talk about a dropped interception? This ends the game. You got to catch. He is really good at what he does.
And he got great hands. Skip, he led the league in interceptions. He had 10, I think, in 2006.
Did he jump just a little too early?
He mistimed it.
Yeah, was he starting to come down when the ball hit him? You just got, if you catch this football,
it's over.
It is over.
It's over.
Tom Brady wins. He's got 7 Super Bowls. Bill
No, he got
Belichick.
8.
Okay. Well, no, I'm sorry. But in New England.
7 in New England,
okay.
yes.
I got it.
Yes.
Okay. And then back to your point about the scoundrel Belichick. So then let's fast forward to the Super Bowl in Minneapolis against Philadelphia. And Brady throws for a playoff record, all-time playoff record, 505 yards. And Belichick's defense gives up 41 points to the Eagles' backup quarterback, while Malcolm Butler, who played the most defensive snaps during the regular season for that Belichick defense, mysteriously was benched for the entire game. Inexplicably, to this moment, we don't know why.
Right.
Well, it's just Belichick being Belichick.
Right.
Like you said, I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
but did it cost Tom another Super Bowl? You could certainly argue that can't you do better than holding Nick Foles to 41 points?
But Skip, we talked about that, the Minnesota. And remember, the week of the Super Bowl, Coach Belichick was at a Timberwolves game. I was like, when have you ever seen Coach Belichick so relaxed? Like, man, they can't. It was almost like they can't beat us. Coach Belichick, you never see. I've never seen Coach Belichick out during the week at any other preview, any before or any after. For some reason, he felt really confident in that game, Skip.
And
He's
supposedly, he made a remark to, was it the Philly coaches before the game on the field? That
You had a good season?
Yeah. Like that they took personally
Yes.
and went in the locker room and just raising hell with their team about, they think they're going to walk all over us?
Right. So for me, Skip, I'm not surprised. Given Coach Belichick's history, his demeanor, Coach Belichick is callous. He's cold-hearted. He's cold-blooded. But I'm not going to say he's just another coach. I believe he's the greatest defensive coach of all time. But what do we do in professional sports? We got to constantly update our resumes. Coach Belichick gets another year to update his resume. So we're going to get that's his guy. He drafted Mac Jones. Mac Jones is his starter. He has everything in place. He spent $200 million of Mr. Kraft's money. He got his quarterback. Okay, now, update your resume, Coach Belichick.
Okay, well, he has to win at least one Super Bowl sooner than later with Mac Jones.
No, it ain't got to be sooner or later. You just got to win one to show that he wasn't Tom Brady. Just wasn't Tom Brady.
What if Tom wins this year's Super Bowl? Do you have to win 2?
No, he just needs to win one to prove that he can win without Tom Brady. Tom Brady's already proven that he can win without him. I grant it. It's a talented team, the most talented team. But he did do that. Coach Belichick has a very talented team. Now he has his quarterback. Now he has to prove that, you know what, I'm more than Tom Brady.
What if Brady wins 2 more before he retires?
Coach Belichick said, all I need to do is to show you that I can win without Tom Brady because y'all don't think I can win without him.
I do not think. Y'all over here says no.
I'm talking to you. I'm pointing to you.
Y'all still give him 25% of the credit, which makes him much more than just another coach. He's not just another coach, but he should thank his lucky stars for Thomas Edward Patrick Brady.
But Skip, how many quarterbacks, how many coaches in the Hall of Fame? Joe Gibbs and Bill Parcells didn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback. All the other coaches that's in there had one. Some had multiples.
Yep. And in some cases, maybe they helped make that guy.
Yes. So,
like Bill, you don't think Bill Walsh contributed to Joe Montana being the great Joe Montana?
Yes.
I mean, nobody saw Montana coming except for Bill Walsh.
Yeah. And nobody saw Tom Brady coming, but Tricky Bill. That's what they call him, Tricky Bill.
That's what he is. And I'm not sure he saw Tom Brady coming because I think it was an afterthought to take him in the 6th round.
Yeah, but nobody should be surprised. Everybody know Coach Belichick is a fake left, go right type of guy. So whatever you think you're thinking about, you know about him. That's why I'm always, sometimes, Skip, I get very leery about things coming out of, but I know him. When he wants to get certain things out there, he'll leak certain things to certain people, and they put it out there and get all that. But Coach Belichick is very close to the vest. He don't want anybody to think they know who he is and what he's about to do.
Yeah. Well, just moments before, or about an hour before he released Cam, he told the media session he's making progress, right? Oh, great.
You're making
progress out the door.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he's gathering his things. He's getting them up. Man, Coach Belichick, man. Whew. He's not everybody's cup of tea, Skip. It's tough if you're a free agent going there when you've known a different style of coaching.
Yep.
You get drafted and Skip, that's all you know. That's all Tom Brady knew. And Tom Brady thought that was the only way that you could win. He gets to Tampa. Bruce Arians is a little bit more relaxed. Guys you're like, what I found out is that there are many different ways that you can win. That's what Tom said out of his own mouth.
He did.
Coach Belichick convinced him the only way you can win is this way. And Tom and all the other guys believe it. When they go somewhere else and they win, they're like, nah, you don't have to be a jerk to your players.
Yep.
You don't have to run them in the ground.
Yep.
You don't have to try to humiliate and embarrass them.
Got it. So, Bill Belichick, you are now on the clock and on the hot seat.
He's definitely on the clock.
Yeah.
He's definitely on the clock.
All right, guys, we're switching
You don't
gears
wanna see
back
the man-
to
you don't
the
wanna see the
NBA
man
because
succeed.
Rajon Rondo didn't hold back when talking about his time with the
What was
Clippers.
this? It was a
You
shot
gotta hear
fired.
what he had to say about his former team. That's next.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy, and I won't back down.
Time for a hot topic of the day sponsored by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. The Lakers officially welcomed Rajon Rondo yesterday with an introductory press conference, and the veteran point guard didn't hold back when talking about his stint with the Clippers last year. When dismissing the idea that his career is on the downslide, he seemingly pointed the finger back at Ty Lue. Take a listen.
I think my game has declined, but you're only as good as your coach believes in you. And going forward this year, looking at the Lakers team and the roster, understanding where I am in my career, but at the same time, I do believe I can still bring a lot to the game. But my main focus is if we win, nothing else matters.
So, Shannon, how much is Ty Lue to blame for Rondo's failure with the Clippers?
Well, I think there's some blame, obviously, Skip. The coach's job is to put the players in the best position for them to succeed. But it's also the player's responsibility to understand what the coach is asking of you. I think these guys are both in very different places at this juncture of their career. Ty Lue was a very young assistant coach in Boston. Rondo was a very young player on a championship caliber team, but they were very young. They're vastly different player-coach dynamic now than what they were then. But it's also Rondo's responsibility to understand what you might have given the Lakers might not be what's required of you at the Clippers. And it's your job to understand that, but it's also Ty Lue under job, okay, you get there. And that's why I always think it's hard, Skip, going to somewhere during the middle of the season, as opposed to being in training camp and you go through all you play some of these preseason games where you have an understanding just exactly what your role is.
Yep.
When you go in the middle of the season, Skip, you got to hit the ground running. You're thinking one thing, and it's something entirely different. But we saw this. A guy named Playoff Rondo had 3 DMPs in the playoffs. He had 3.
5.
He had three inactive in the play. A guy named Playoff Rondo in the playoffs isn't playing.
No, he fell completely out of favor.
Completely out of the rotation. And the writing was on the wall. It was just a matter of time. Maybe he and the players, they just butt heads. It didn't go as well as expected for him in Atlanta. It didn't go as well as expected for him at the Clippers, and he's back home. So, Skip, I just think the thing... Huh?
Back home in the same building.
Back inside with over there. Hey, Jeffrey, we upstairs now.
Yeah.
He ain't got to go down there to the moldy, crusty basement, because that's where y'all are. That's where
There's
y'all...
mold down there?
Yep.
That's dangerous, that
well,
mold.
hey, well, y'all don't play dangerous on the court. Y'all don't do anything. Y'all don't want anything.
Maybe it's the mold's fault. I don't know.
Skip, but I just think the thing is, look, there's enough blame to go around. Rondo didn't play well. I don't think he played well enough to get any more minutes than what he got. And Ty Lue maybe didn't put him in the best situation. So I'm not going to lay all the blame at Ty Lue's feet and let obfuscate Rondo off the hook. Now, I can't let him off the hook either. I think there's enough blame to go around. But I can assure you this, nobody is happy with the other.
That is a fact. And I'm not happy with what playoff Rondo did not do for my Clippers.
Yeah, you hyped him up.
I thought he was a godsend. I thought he was the missing final piece to the championship puzzle. And I think they did too. And they tried early on to say, here.
Right.
They didn't throw him into the starting lineup, but they were trying to ease him toward it.
Right.
And it did not happen. He had 2 flashes that caught my eye. 2 games. There was a loss to the Nuggets by 6, in which he went 18 points, 5 and 5. But he was a -9 in the game, and it wasn't clicking.
Right.
It wasn't taken off the way he became. He especially in the bubble, he became a closer for the Lakers. Seriously, a closer. So there was another game against Phoenix at home in which he went 15, 3, and 9, and he was a plus 24, and it was pretty impressive, and I thought, okay, here we go.
You thought you'd go see that guy more.
Yeah, did I? And yet he started only 1 game in the regular season, and you know which game that was? That was the dubious game at Houston when They got blown out, and Rondo played pretty well in that game. He had 13 assists in that game. He was a
Is that the game they lost by 50?
Yeah, well, they didn't lose by 50. I forget what the score was.
Didn't somebody beat them by 50?
It was a 7-point loss.
Grizzlies beat them.
But the point was, that's when people started suspecting that they were tanking to avoid the team upstairs.
Yeah, they didn't want to see us.
That was ridiculous.
They didn't want to see us. They didn't want to see us.
That's all they wanted to do. In fact, that night, they started the immortal Jerry Scrub at point guard with Rondo, so nobody played. Paul George didn't play. Kawhi didn't play. No, Marcus Morris didn't play in that game in Houston. Okay, so that was his lone start. And then we get to the playoffs, and you know what happened. We get to Game 5, first round against Dallas after they had remarkably, astonishingly won Games 3 and 4 at Dallas down 0-2, won the big Friday night game with Dak in the front row, and you know how that went. And it was Kawhi and Paul George, and we got to Game 5, and they blow it. It's 2-2, and they blow it, and down the stretch, it was time for Rondo to play quarterback to set them up for the final shot and get a decent look, and Kawhi got stuck in the corner, guarded, desperation 3, air ball, and you know the rest of the story. They got after each other on the floor after the game, as we see right here. There he is. He just didn't like what he got stuck with, and I think he started by saying something to Rondo, and Rondo really came back, and it seemed like that was, if not the end, the beginning of the end.
But, Skip, if you think about it, if you look at the rest of those guys, that play had to be run for Kawhi because nobody else moved. You talked about LeBron, though. Remember when Rondo said he locked eyes with LeBron? If you look at this play, nobody else is moving. The only guy that cuts towards the basketball is Kawhi. So it seems like that was the play that was
obviously, Kawhi didn't think the play got run as it was supposed to be run.
Right.
That's all I know, because he was not happy.
Right.
And you can't show up the superstar as you're walking off the court in plain sight of the TV camera.
That's the biggest thing, Skip, is that when you go to a different locker room, how you were in one locker room, you got to gauge, you got to check the temperature of the room, the locker room that you're going into. The one thing that I did when I went to Baltimore is that I just sat back. You know, I wasn't my typical self that I would be like when I was in Denver.
Yep.
And then once I saw, like, man, they mofos just like the guys I left. I can be me.
Okay, but you want to talk about some huge personalities in that locker room? There were 4 or 5 that equaled yours, right?
So you have to understand that, Skip. The way I talked to Ed and Rod, that wasn't the way I talked in Denver.
Yes.
That wasn't the way I talked to Kadri and Jermaine Lewis and Patrick Johnson. It was a different, I was like, Q, okay, bro, it's time to make a play. He's like, oh, okay, sure, okay, I got you. And boom, just like that, I'm like, Jermaine, I'm going to bust it. You're going to be wide open. I need you to make a play for me.
Yep.
You talk to him like that to give the guys confidence. I couldn't say some of the things that I would say back in Denver because it was a different situation. But you have to understand that. And I don't know, Rondo's like, well, this is how I am, take it or leave it. No, you can't do that. Because if you say take it or leave it, they're going to say we're going to leave it.
Okay, so bottom line, I thought Ty Lue was the perfect coach for Rondo because they knew each other. They kind of grew up in the league together.
Right.
And I thought one would listen to the other, who would listen to the other, and somehow it didn't click because it did look like, to my eye test, that Rondo's skills were declining right before your very eyes at age 35. I didn't see the quickness. I didn't see the shot making that I saw for the Lakers. Now, maybe it's because he just felt more comfortable in that fit. I don't know. But to me, you can't blame Ty Lue because I think he was moving toward, I want this guy to be the guy in the playoffs, and he couldn't take the reins that they tried to hand him.
Well, it's hard, Skip, when you get Reggie Jackson stepping up playing like he played, and then Terrence Mann takes his game to a whole level. So now, Skip, we're getting contributions that we didn't anticipate because Reggie Jackson didn't play like he in the playoffs. Reggie Jackson didn't play like that during the season. No, Terrence Mann damn sure didn't play like he played in the playoffs.
Nope.
So now we got 2 situations we didn't anticipate having.
And all of a sudden, Rondo becomes an afterthought.
Right. So he's not getting the minutes that he thought.
Nope.
So it's hard, Skip. You start to press when you get in there. You're not getting the minutes. I'm going to show you why you need to give me more minutes. And you start attempting things, turnovers. You take bad shots. Now, you know Rondo going to take a bad shot here or there, Skip. You know he's going to airball a 3. You know he's going to go try to drive down. Do the up and down on the backside of the backside of the board. You know that's going to happen, Skip. But you got to be willing to live with that. Well, when the 2 guys are playing well and you attempted those shots, well, you know what? I was planning on giving you 15 minutes tonight, but I'm going to have to cut that down to 10 because you want some bull jive.
So he fired 2 shots at the team downstairs yesterday.
What did he say? What did he say about it?
One was at Ty Lue, and the other was, he said, we did not get our victory parade after the bubble championship, obviously in the middle of the pandemic.
Oh, yeah,
he said, so I'm back so that we can get our parade this year that we deserved 2 years ago. That's what he said.
I didn't hear him say that.
And that's another shot fired at the team in the basement that's going to come back up out of the basement once Kawhi is healthy sometime around March.
If you don't mind me asking, Skip, let's just say for the sake of argument, hypothetically, some pie in the sky, somewhere in a land far, far away, more like Pluto. If you guys were to win a parade, where's it going to go? It ain't going to go downtown by Staples Center.
Why not?
Y'all going to take that out to Playa Vista. Take that out to Playa. Yeah, you got to take that out to Playa.
I love Playa Vista.
Well, that's where you
go there.
That's where your praise glowing, right down Jefferson.
No, you know what? We're going to shut down the 405 and just take it over. Yeah, we're going to parade up and down the 405 by Inglewood. That's where we're going to be.
Laker Nation ain't going to let that happen.
Yeah.
Laker Nation we'll never let that happen.
We will have a parade.
You notice I said that?
You have a parade.
Never.
Yes.
We already had one. We just didn't get an opportunity to do it. You know we did, Skip. We got a championship. We got number 17.
I saw that.
Y'all haven't even won 17 division titles. Yeah. We got 17 championships.
We took our first step and got to our first ever conference finals, and now as Kawhi gets his knee right,
you know Kawhi ain't playing this year.
He's going to play.
So you get ready for 2022?
Nope, I'm ready for this
2023.
Love it, love it. The window is still open for this Clippers group.
It's still open, Skip, but you know back in the old days, you used to put a stick in the window because the window would fall down because we have no locks on it like they got today.
Yep.
We put that wooden spoon up there so the window didn't close.
Yeah,
so y'all hold it.
Is still in the
you holding it open, Skip.
Yep.
But it's under stress. It's under duress. I don't know how much longer I can hold this window open.
Kawhi's going to come back at full strength, completely refreshed and healthy.
Can you imagine? I know what I got doing. AD got a new trainer, got a chef. Woo! Goat James, always on that thing. I see.
Oh, Russ. Wait, you mean Lagon?
Oh, man. And Russ, you know, Russ out there training with Boss doing his thing.
Really?
It's over.
LeBron working on his free throw shooting?
It's over. See, there you go worried about all that.
Ask him.
You worry about Kawhi making last-second shots and not airballing it. That's what ticked Rondo off. He's like, I throw this ball to LeBron, LeBron hit the shot. I throw this ball to AD, AD hit the shot. You talking about you better than them and you airballing it.
No,
get out my face.
Rondo threw it to AD and he made the shot that saved
Rondo
the playoffs.
said, get out my face while I put these fives on you.
Okay, we'll see about that. This is an old basketball team. All of a sudden, Rondo said yesterday, I'm like the 6th oldest now. I used to be the oldest.
Don't worry about all that.
That was the old people to put that. The Lakers are going to be a fun watch this year. We're going to be talking about them because of that roster. It's going to be fun.
You a hater.
So let's switch gears. Will Mac Jones be able to fill Tom Brady's shoes for Bill Belichick? That's next.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy, and I won't back down.
Now, within hours of Cam Newton's release, Mac Jones' jersey sold out at the Patriots Pro Shop as the New England fan base embraced the beginning of this new era at quarterback. Now, the Alabama rookie is looking to get Bill Belichick back to the playoffs after the team missed out last year in their first season without Brady. So, Shannon, how much will Mac Jones mean to Belichick's legacy?
I think Coach Belichick's legacy is secure. You win 6 Super Bowls, go to 9. Your legacy is pretty much done what it is. There's a great chance, Skip. There's an outside chance he can catch Coach Shula for the most career wins in NFL history. I don't really... Anything that Coach Belichick does from this point on is just icing on the cake. That's where I am, Skip. Of course he wants to win a Super Bowl without Tom Brady. That's just the way it goes. Everybody wants to say, yeah, I told you I could do this without him.
Okay.
But I believe it's harder to do what Coach Belichick is attempting to do than what Tom did. See, Coach Belichick just can't say, you know what, Mr. Kraft, I'm done here. I think I want to go coach. Let me see who's the most talented team. Oh, I want to go coach the Ravens. Or I want to go coach Kansas City. He can't do that. He has to rebuild. And so it's piece by piece, brick by brick. He feels he's done enough. Be a free agency in the draft. He has his guy. So let's see if this thing can work. Now, I'm not surprised about the jersey, Skip. We saw his first game. They gave the kid a standing ovation. When he got drafted, they cheered. Very different scenario than when Donovan McNabb got drafted because they booed. So we see the fan base had already like, that's our guy, he's our guy, he's our guy. And that's just the way it is. And so I'm not surprised by anything that he's received, the jersey selling out. But Coach Belichick's legacy is etched in stone. They don't deny it. He's the greatest NFL coach. Yeah, you got some scoundrel in him. Yeah, he's got a lot of things that there's a lot to dislike about Coach Belichick personally. But his coaching is unquestioned. And so for me, I don't really think, I'm sure he wants to win one without Tom Brady. But Skip, he lives, he breathes. Everything that he does is about football.
Okay.
He's 69. I don't know how many more years he got. I'm going to say he's going to coach at least at the bare minimum. I'm going to say he's going at least at the bare minimum 5.
I will not be surprised if he goes to 80. Seriously, I'm serious.
He might be. If you know what, Skip, he might be the Tom Brady of the coaches. You have to drag him off the field. Remember, Tom Brady's dad said you got to drag him off.
I agree.
That's Coach Belichick.
Okay, I got it. First question back to you.
Yes.
Was Bill Belichick in the last 5 years the victim of a GM who failed him in the front office?
No, he did that.
No, he did that, right? He was his own GM. He was his own team builder. Every move that was made is on Bill Belichick. And they were bad, worse.
Yes.
Until his owner called him out and finally said, boy, we had to spend a lot of money to fix this, and you better get it fixed.
Because for the first time, Skip, normally you get by minimum, paying guys a little minimum money.
Yep.
Now you had to pay guys maximum money. Mr. Kraft, now hold on. Money's supposed to be coming in. It ain't supposed to be going out.
So now we get to what is Bill Belichick's agenda right here, right now? He is obsessed with, he is possessed of trying to show the world he can win one Super Bowl, at least one Super Bowl without Tom Brady.
That's it.
Because he has been called out. The world has called him out, and even though he's not going to acknowledge it, even though he's going to stay above the fray, he's inside the fray. He's under the fray.
Oh,
he's looking up right now. He knows it. He hears it. He feels it. He sees about it.
Right.
So all of a sudden, he tries Jared Stidham, and he tries to sell Stiddy as my next Brady, my diamond in the rough that I drafted in the 3rd round or whatever he was. And that was a swing and a miss, and I called him out on that because I'd watched Stiddy at Baylor and Auburn, and I said, no, he ain't that guy.
That's the cubic zirconia.
Okay, there you go. Okay, that was a swing and a miss by Bill Belichick.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, with a little help from his best friend in coaching, his scoundrels to scoundrels, two peas in a pod, you could say.
Right.
Belichick and Saban. I'm sure Saban was in his ear saying, hey, don't sleep on this kid.
Right.
He did it at the highest level for me. He is mentally and physically tough. So if you got your shot, take your shot. And the shot fell in his lap because he did not have to spend a dime to go get him as a draft capital. Nope. He sat there at 15 watching him fall right into my lap. And I'm sure he has proven to be even better than Belichick could have in his wildest dreams imagined that he would be this good this quickly. Well, because he was, Cam is gone, and Mac is installed as the Game 1 starter. So fair or unfair, now it starts.
Yeah.
Now we got to do it. We got to push it right in the middle of the table. Can Mac Jones be Tom Brady for Bill Belichick? Because that's the question going forward, right?
Nah, he just need to be Trent Dilfer. Just win one.
Well, does he?
He just win one championship.
Okay, is that defense going to be the 2000 Ravens defense?
Heck no.
Okay. Is Jonnu Smith going to be Shannon Sharpe?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Maybe Hunter Henry's got a better shot. But
I think the thing is, Skip, the thing is that you're asking for something that's never going to happen. There's a great likelihood that we're never going to see another Tom Brady in the history, not in our lifetime. And he definitely not finna get to coaching. So I'm not saying Mac Jones can't and won't be good.
But he's already been called fairly, I believe, Brady-esque.
Well,
he is much closer to Brady's style than Cam is.
Why?
Honestly.
Because he has a knee brace. He can't run. And when you look at his combine photo, you like, and that guy plays professional sports doing what?
Correct. I got it.
So we got to.
And it's the same style. The ball's coming out quick.
Yes.
There's going to be what will feel like a lot of dinking and dunking.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, and they are going to run the hell out of the football because they are highly capable of doing just that. So it will be 2001 Brady-esque.
Right.
You know, that's how they will try to win with this. Is this defense as good as that 2001? I say absolutely not. No. But the point is, can at any point sooner than later, can Mac even approximate Brady? Because now we got to come down to evaluate what this kid is really made of. Because we're about to find out for real on legit regular season NFL stage, right?
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out. What did he do in his 1 year starting at Alabama? How clutch was he? Well, we don't know because he wasn't asked to be clutch.
No.
Remember the Florida game? They won it only by 6, but they were up 35-17 at halftime.
Right.
And all of a sudden, Florida starts to roar back in that game, and they cut it to 52-46 with 2:07 remaining, tried the onside kick, and failed to recover.
Right.
And so all Mac Jones and the offense had to do was just milk the clock and run it out. And Florida got the ball back with like 11 seconds.
Skip, I don't know if anybody got within 2 touchdowns of them in the second half other than that Florida game. I mean, they blew everybody off.
So remember, Tom Brady for Belichick won 6 Super Bowls with 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter overtime. That's preposterously great. That will never be equaled. I don't think ever. Because that's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Okay? So the point is, what is Mac clutch time? I don't know. I don't know. And more important, how is Mac Jones as a leader? Can he take over this locker room? I don't sense that from the kid. He doesn't seem to have that kind of forceful personality.
He will, Skip. He will. I mean, it's hard for it. You got to understand that. He is a rookie.
He is a baby rookie.
Yeah. He's the quarterback. I get that. But he's a young guy that's coming into a locker room that's full of veterans. So it's going to take time. And just because of your status, just because you're the quarterback, you're not automatically the leader of nothing in here, bruh. You're going to have to show us, just like we had to earn our stripes, you're going to have to learn yours. Earn yours.
He earned it on the practice field, right? And in the preseason.
Yeah, but I want to see some real game when they start scheming.
I got that. Tom Brady, to me, is simply the greatest leader in the history of sports. And I think Ray Lewis is up in that conversation, and I think Shannon Sharpe is in that conversation.
But Skip, but here's the thing. He's going to have to do it. Yeah, he earned the job, but he's going to have to do a lot of. I'm sure when Tom first stepped in the locker room, there were still some guys like, I don't know, maybe we should go. Maybe they should go back to Drew. I don't know about this old Tom thing, but slowly but surely, he won a Super Bowl. They didn't make the playoffs the next year, and then they won 2 back-to-back. And from that point on...
When I think it started to happen was that Tuck Rule game, his first year starting, because I was there in the press box that snowy night in Foxborough.
Well, I cut the TV off, Skip, because I thought the game was over. I thought the game was over because, hey, the Raiders had the lead. They was up a touchdown. They just stripped the ball. Like, okay, lights out, because we had to play Pittsburgh the next day.
Got it. Tuck Rule, it was a horrible call against the Raiders that launched a Patriots dynasty. But in that game, if you go back and pick it apart and look hard at it, Brady was incredibly clutch on 3rd down after 3rd down. So was Vinatieri in the snow. He made 2 kicks in the snow that were
he had no business making that one to win the game.
I got it. But he did.
He did.
And Brady made some throws in the snow that were like, really? Because he doesn't look the part, but he's acting he's playing the part, right? And from that moment on, it felt like he started taking over the team. And remember, then we get toward the Super Bowl, he's got an ankle injury, but they just said, no, we're sticking with the kid.
Skip, I just think if you could just look at the Raiders, Skip, when they overturned that Tuck Rule call, it's just like the life got sucked out of them.
Yeah, it hadn't been the same since and I was covering that team.
And Al believes that there was a call from the league.
Although they did. They did get to the Super Bowl
the year later.
The next year with Rich Gannon, the MVP of the year.
But Skip...
No, I know. You look back at that, and Al was the one that told me in that next training camp, he said, that call came from New York.
He believed that, Skip. He went to his dying bed believing that.
He did. But in the end, I just don't know if Mac can measure up in leadership and clutchness. Those are going to be... If we're talking about this team winning a Super Bowl... I'm talking about not getting, I'm talking winning. Got to win it.
Yeah.
And listen, Tom Brady is the favorite to win it this year and should be, well, I know some people have Kansas City. In my book, he's the favorite.
But in most people's books, Skip, they top 2, top 3 all across the board. No matter what sports book you go to, they're one of the 3 favorites.
Well, I still say if Brady wins another one this year, it just ups the ante. It increases the pressure on this kid.
What if they meet in the Super Bowl?
Well, are they?
What does that mean in the Super Bowl?
Well, are you ready?
And Coach Belichick pitched that shutout on him. Woo! it'll be over.
Are you predicting?
I'm just saying, Skip, Coach Belichick, Tom Brady, Super Bowl, so-fi.
Okay, that would do it.
And he shut him down.
Yeah, and it ain't happening.
Ooh, Coach Belichick.
You want to put any long-range dew on it?
No.
Like even like a bottle? Like one bottle of dew on it.
I don't know.
I'll even take a can.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's a big prediction, but that'd be a fun matchup. Let's move and talk some Cowboys. Because did Dak Prescott just reveal $1 million idea on Hard Knocks last night?
Weird.
Don't go anywhere.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy. And I won't back down. And I won't back down.
Hard Knocks Episode 4 debuted last night, and Dak Prescott revealed a new business idea he is cooking up. Take a listen.
Jim just gave me a brilliant idea, business idea, that I need to know who to put in. But if it didn't come from this room, I'm only going to put it in this room. We'll take it and run with it. So it's the new cornhole. Sell it, make it for a tailgate. All I got to do is make a pylon, but do it in the shape of a jersey. Put a 19 and a 88 on it. Get rubber balls, $15 to make it, sell it for 40. I mean, we'll be millionaires. I mean, I'm just letting y'all know what I'm going to do. So I already talked to my financial advisor. Jim told me yesterday. I was just watching.
And I hope the box that comes in is like a big picture of you.
No, we'll call it something else.
Prescott's pylon.
That's pretty good. I was thinking, boy, tailgate touchdown, but I like that one.
I think you ought to nickname yourself Pylon Prescott. You too can go to the Pro Bowl. Yeah. Fine. Pylon Prescott.
Skip, what did this tell you about Dak?
Yeah. What did it tell you about it?
First, allow me to disqualify myself. I'm a lifelong Cowboy fan. As you know, I have great expectations for this year's Cowboys to at least win the least. And I just didn't really want to hear my $75 million quarterback expressing another sort of greedy idea that seemed like he's really thought hard about it.
Yeah.
I hope people understand. They had showed a little footage. They have a pylon game that they play with the quarterbacks, and it's a soft toss game to knock the orange pylon down from about, 30 feet away.
Right.
And I don't know, it's something somebody started that they keep the tradition going. So Dak's already got his wheels turning, thinking, we could market this.
Right.
We could make it for $15. He'd gone all the way to sell it for $40.
Right.
I'm sure they could.
Right.
And I'm sure it would work.
Yes.
If you put a 19 jersey on one pylon,
Right.
Amari,
Right.
and an 88 CD on the other one,
Right.
yeah, and put Dak's face on it,
Right.
would Cowboy Nation buy it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would.
Okay.
They buy anything.
They buy anything. Okay, I got it. But I think Dak has around 12 national TV commercials already, and he's going to make $75 million just this year. Second on the quarterback list in salary is Tom Brady at 27.5. 75 million down to 27.5. And it just hit me wrong. Like, what is he talking about? Maybe they were just having fun, but he had already thought it through, and it was serious. You know, this is a business idea that he is thinking hard about in his
Well, I guess
head.
the quarterback's coach gave him the idea.
Well, I guess so, but then he volunteered. I don't think he'd already thought about marketing the game,
Right.
and then he named it Prescott's Pylon
Yeah,
game.
Pylon
Okay.
Prescott.
All right, great. But the point is, this is a huge year for Dak Prescott.
Right.
And maybe they were just goofing around in a quarterback meeting, but the big picture here is, this is big. You've said the most pressure is on him. I think there's a whole lot of pressure on 21, who hadn't played any football either.
Right.
And is just goofing around on the sidelines, and he's been happy, silly Zeke. We keep seeing him on the sideline during games, thanks to NFL Films.
Right.
But the point is, yeah, there's huge Prescott pressure this year. Maybe that's a game, Prescott pressure. And he is now 6-11 in his last 17 starts as a Dallas Cowboy. And when the pressure was on in 2019, down the stretch, when it was him versus Jerry, he was betting on himself, he didn't play very well in those road games. And you and I have been over it and over it. At Jets, one of your all-time favorite Cowboy losses. at New England, at Philadelphia, at Chicago. I can go on and on. He just didn't play very well.
New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans, yeah. You managed 10 points against Teddy Bridgewater and lose 12 and 10. And last year, yeah, got her off to a rip-roaring start in losing efforts. And they stole the Atlanta game, or they could have fallen to 0-4. And he was putting up historic pace numbers, and you called them and dismissed them empty calories.
Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't seen enough, and now I need to see it. They have dramatically improved the defense. It's going to be young, but it's going to be way better than it was last year. And I think Micah Parsons is going to be a star, and I think you'll see it fairly quickly. He's going to change the way they play defense. Obviously, you have 3 bona fide, legitimate weapons at wideout, and CD is going to rise and shine as the best of those 3. And Amari's been lighting it up in camp, and we saw some great
Even Amari
footage.
was talking. He never talks. Amari was even talking.
Well, it's because Dax was sort of fueling the fire against Trevon Diggs. And Amari got him twice. And Cooper Rush threw the touchdown pass. Just for the record, he did that in practice. But the point is, if the offensive line can stay reasonably healthy, you got your 3 pillars back in the offensive line, maybe. And Zeke is back and looks like he's on a new nutrition plan, and he looks like he could have something. I think he can have a bounce back here. Okay, so the pressure does fall to number 4. Can he be that guy? Can he live up to $75 million, not to mention 12 national TV commercials, not to mention maybe a Prescott pylon game that they're going to market sooner than later? I don't know. So it just sort of hit me wrong, like, Dak, I just want you concentrating on football. And we all know he hasn't gotten to play any meaningful football since, what was it? It's almost a year.
Like the middle, like October, like the second game in October.
What was it, the 11th?
Yeah, something like that. It's going to be almost, it's going to be 11 months since he last played a meaningful football game.
Okay, so that's how it hit me a little bit sideways.
First of all, you and I both know Cowboy fans will pay anything that's Cowboy related. They got Cowboy on it, and now if you put a jersey number on it, you put one of these players' numbers on it, they'll definitely buy it.
Now I'll get it for Christmas. Just watch.
Yeah, you will.
I will.
Because, Skip, you know, he says it's the game that's going to replace cornhole. You know, everybody comes out there to tailgate, and they're playing the game. They're throwing the football around. Buffalo, you know, they're doing set the table on fire. They're doing all kind of crazy things. So, but you told me, you said, Dak, you should give Jerry a discount. You play in Dallas. You have all these business opportunities. Take advantage of them. Now he trying to take advantage of him. You say, nah, Dak, don't do that. You done got your money now. Don't take advantage of none of these business opportunities.
Jerry to the cleaners, then the bank.
Yes.
He took him so far to the bank that Jerry at the media session said, you got me. I overpaid you. Jerry just publicly admitted, you beat me and I overpaid you.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people say, man, I got too many shoes. I've heard women say, I got too many purses. I've heard men and people say, I got too many cars, too many homes.
I've heard people say about you have too many shoes.
I do. I'm one of the people I'm talking about. Skip, how many times have you ever heard one person say, man, I got too much money. Man, I don't know what to do with all this money. I got too much of it. Never. Nope. So guess what? Dak said, I understand that I'm going to make $75 million. Dak was what? Top 5 highest paid athletes in all the world. Says he has an off-the-field income of $10 million.
Okay.
Dak said, I'm trying to get that to 20.
Okay. You know what? I'm great with that, but I need you to show me a little something now. Like, I need you to actually play a week from Thursday night, and I need you to play like a $75 million quarterback.
Let me ask
Is that
you
fair?
Yeah, it's fair. I get it fair, but here's the thing, Skip. What's the most valuable franchise in all the world? What have they won in 25 years? So what the Cowboys have shown you and what Dak has seen, man, I can reap all these benefits and I ain't got to win nothing because the Dallas Cowboys have become more and more valuable and have not gone to the NFC Championship game, have not won a Super Bowl. So Dak says, I'm the quarterback. I can put 4, put 88 on something, put the star on it, and boom, boom, voila. That's what they call you, stock market Skip. You want your ratings to go up? High stock market Skip. Oh, stock market Skip?
Really?
Yeah, that's what they call you, the crib.
Oh, do they? Oh, I like that. I'll take that. Well, the quarterback before Dak Prescott was named Tony Romo, and same thing just happened. the world was at his feet, and he's now one of the greats on television, all because he got launched by America's team.
He wears Skechers.
Yep. He does. He's got abs.
Yeah, he got Skechers. Yeah. You know, he was ahead of the curve, Skip. Remember in 2015, he tried to get this gambling thing off, and the NFL shut him down. But so he was ahead. Tony Romo was thinking like, this thing is going someplace.
Okay.
I know the NFL say they don't want to do it, but it's going someplace. So Tony Romo was like, he was trying to parlay being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback way ahead. Dak said, I'm not going to wait. Because a lot of times, Skip, sometimes guys wait until they're done with football. No, the best time is when you're active, and then parlay that. Because you know the guy we talking about, Mr. Staubach, he the king in Dallas.
Yeah, but he waited until it was done, and then he became a real estate mogul in Dallas.
Yes.
He took it over.
Yes.
But he didn't start until he was finished.
But Dak said, I might not win a Super Bowl, so I need to get started early. Troy got 3 of them. Roger got 2 of them. It's easier to build once you... Skip, now, if Dak were to win a Super Bowl...
Okay, then all bets are off. Just have at it. Be my guest.
Man.
God bless you.
Man.
Do it. Okay? But he's won nothing so far.
He won nothing.
Okay? He did win 1 playoff game. I give him that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, beat Russell Wilson in a playoff game.
Man, go ahead. He didn't do that.
Well, he did. And yet, I just need to back it up before you back up the Brinks truck again.
Yeah,
just back it up,
But
right?
Skip, we know that there's pressure. As great as the running back pair is in Cleveland, what is everybody saying? Who's the pressure on? Baker Mayfield. As good as the running game is for Baltimore, who does the pressure fall on?
Okay, but what did I keep saying about Baker? I don't want to see more progressive commercials while you're regressing on the field.
You won't see no more of that. Lamar Jackson beat that out of him.
Okay.
Yeah, he ain't gonna be on the progressive.
Well, that's his house.
Flo. Even Flo said, you better stop this. Yeah, even Flo told him to stop. You need to stop
Really?
this. Until you beat Lamar Jackson, I don't want to see your face. No, that's what Flo told him.
Yeah, Flo, speaking of making money, Flo, she's made a lot of money. She might have more money than Dak Prescott.
Yeah, man. Hey, Flo told Baker, don't you come back over here until you beat Lamar Jackson.
It's all about that business mindset, but we're moving on. Is there a chance that Ben Simmons sticks around in Philly? We'll tell you what Joel Embiid was saying about it next.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy, and I won't back down.
Now, Ben Simmons may want out of Philadelphia, but it sounds like Joel Embiid would like him to stick around. After a report that Philly is being forced to choose between the 2 players and a rift is emerging, the All-Star Center vented on Twitter this morning. Stop using my name to push people's agendas. I love and hate drama. I love playing with Ben. Stats don't lie. He's an amazing player, and we all didn't get the job done. It's on me personally. I hope everyone is back because we know we're good enough to win. So, Shannon, are you buying this?
I do not believe that there is a beef between Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. I just believe that it's not a natural fit, and that's what I was told. I just think the thing is, Skip, is that if you look at the history of Ben Simmons, how well he plays when Joel Embiid isn't in the lineup. That's a problem. Joel Embiid is one of the 2 best center bigs in all of basketball. It's hard to say, well, you know what? We don't want you to play X amount of games so we can maximize what Ben Simmons is. Somehow Ben needed to find a way to play like he played when Joel was out, play that way when Joel was there. And for whatever reason, Skip, it hasn't happened. Ben also believes that they've chosen Joel over him, and he wants a fresh start. He wants out of Philly. It's as simple as that. I don't, it's not. Let's not make it complicated. They fighting each other, or they had the same different girls or something. It's not anything about that.
Agreed.
It is simple as this. He doesn't believe it's a good fit. He believes the Sixers have sided, say we would rather have Joel Embiid. He says, okay, I would rather be elsewhere than be here. It's that simple. There is no beef between these 2 guys. It's just a fit that doesn't work.
I don't think there's an overt beef as in face-to-face.
No. I don't think they dislike each other. Skip.
Right. Do they quarrel? Do they clash? No. Is it simmering sort of under the surface a little bit because they're not a great natural fit?
Right.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't help when you said that the momentum change when...
That did not help. Again, is that heat of battle?
Yes.
Pain of losing, blowing leads to Atlanta, shouldn't have lost to Atlanta, did lose to Atlanta in a Game 7 at home. Is it just the pain of that? Is it lashing out? Got to blame somebody. Was he the easiest scapegoat for that game? Yep. And you can't defend what he did or didn't do right there.
Correct.
He did not take the shot.
Right.
And yet even Doc threw him under a proverbial bus.
Yeah.
And between Doc and Embiid, Ben Simmons was crushed over that.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him because he's got a lot of pride, obviously. He's still a young man. He just turned 25 years of age.
Yes.
Don't forget that.
Yep.
And yet I'm going to remind everybody that as Embiid's now coming to a senses saying, uh-oh, I got to try to do some damage control here.
Over.
It's too late. But if you look back on what they did do together, I'm going to remind you that Kawhi year, what was it, 2019? Yeah. I mean, it's Game 7 against Toronto of the Eastern Conference Finals.
It was the semifinals, wasn't it? Because then they lose. I think they lost to Milwaukee. Didn't they lose to Milwaukee in the finals?
The other way around. But my point is, you've got the team that's going to go win it.
Got them on the hook.
You got them on the ropes, man.
You let them off.
It's Game 7, and Embiid is sick and hurt.
Right.
It still didn't matter.
Right.
They were still good enough, and Ben Simmons were really good in that series. And it goes to the last drop, last shot.
It is.
And it's simply the luckiest game-winning shot I've ever seen in a playoff game because he shoots it from the corner, a la the one that we just saw him airball against Dallas.
Right.
Shoots it from the corner, and it bounces 7 times on the rim sideways. And I don't know how you do that. It's almost like physically impossible from the corner. And it fell.
Right.
And that was the end of that Sixers team. But you can't tell me they weren't pretty great because they were within a bad bounce or a good bounce, right, of an advance.
But here's the thing, Skip. What do we know? When Draymond said what he said to KD, it was the heat of the moment. What happens when people get angry? They're drunk or they're kid. They'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Joel
always say that. That was it.
Joel Embiid in the heat of the moment.
He spoke his heart. I agree. So now this whole franchise is sitting back saying, uh-oh.
What have we done?
What have we done? Because I told you, they shot themselves in both feet because now it's even Maxey who is a clutch client. And Rich Paul's saying, I want him out and I want him out too.
Skip, okay, you get at least, if the fans are beating me up, I got my family, which is the team, that's going to support me, that's going to rally around me. Well, the fans killing me, and now I got the best player on the team saying that the momentum switch when I had an opportunity for a layup, I passed, and we ended up making one free throw. I got the head coach saying, I don't know if I can answer that right now if my starting point guard, who's an all-star player, is good enough to lead us to, can we win a championship with him? So I'm getting it from the outside.
The same Ben Simmons who made 3 straight all-star teams. Go ahead.
So if I'm getting it from the outside and the inside, why am I going to stay? Why am I going to stay on this team in this city?
I don't blame him a bit. I also don't blame Joel for coming to his senses and publicly tweeting, stating that, hey, I got no problem with him. And in fact, I love playing with him because in the end, he does love playing with him because he knows they're way better with Ben than without Ben.
Right.
Because it worked well enough to get him that far. And they should have gotten past Atlanta, and then we would have seen what would happen.
What he's saying now is what he should have said after the ball game.
Well, I got it.
That's what he should have said.
Okay, but he's a kid too still. At heart, he's like a kid. And this is all new to him. And you get full of yourself, and then you get smacked in the nose and you say things that you don't really want to say.
Here's the thing, Skip. You could start drama with Andre Drummond. You could start drama with guys that's not on your team.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is have a situation with a guy on your team.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, you say that in the heat of the moment, you go home and you think about it, you lay down like, what the hell have I done?
Yep.
This is not going to go. Skip, this is not going. I don't know if have we ever heard a player say the momentum changed when we had a layup and we ended up making one free throw? Or the head coach says, Skip, I don't know. I mean, what coach will say, do you think you can win a quarter? Normally, even if you don't believe you can, you say, yes, I believe he's good enough to lead.
Drive it home one last time. That player in question won Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
Then in the next 3 years made 3 straight All-Star teams and 2 all-defensive teams.
Yes.
That's the guy you said, I don't know if we can win with him. And that's the guy Joel Embiid said, well, the turning point was when he didn't say his name, but we all knew what he was talking about.
So how do you come back from that, Skip?
Okay, well, right now, somewhere, Ben Simmons is sitting back saying, oh, now you love me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You should have thought about that before you say I gagged that layup and made one free throw. And now, how do you get value? It's already come out, made it public. He's made it public that he wants to be out. How do you get value?
Yeah. You just threw your leverage under the bus, too.
Yes, so now you're going to take pennies on the dollar.
Yep.
But are you better, as opposed getting rid of Ben Simmons, that's not happy being there? Are you better taking pieces, parts?
I don't know. You're in trouble.
They're in trouble.
All right, let's move from this messy situation over to LeBron, because is he as influential a three-point shooter as Steph Curry?
Oh, this is my favorite.
One Hall of Famer thinks so. Don't go anywhere.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy. And I won't back down. And I won't back down.
A highlight video went viral showcasing LeBron's ability to make deep logo threes throughout his career, with a caption referencing that the King was making these shots before players like Steph Curry or Dame Lillard made them famous. Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas even chimed in, retweeting the post and bluntly informing all of his followers, quote, "Let it be known." So, Shannon, does LeBron deserve more credit for this?
Let it be known. Let the church say amen. Amen. Yeah, Skip Bayless, you see that. Now, I will concede that might be the biggest logo in the history. The Cleveland logo, Skip, took up half the court. But yeah, LeBron does deserve some credit. Skip, can he shoot it with the consistency like a Dame, like a Steph Curry? No. But this notion that those guys started shooting that shot is not true, because he was shooting that shot before those guys got into the league. So, yeah, he deserves some credit. Is he as great a three-point shooter? No, nobody's going to say that. But give the guy some credit. It's like we give Sammy Baugh credit for the forward pass. Is he as great as Tom Brady or Peyton Manning? No, but he deserves some credit, right? Yeah.
No, but that's just the forward pass. It's not a harder pass than Tom Brady threw.
That harder. Wham!
It wasn't like Sammy Baugh said, "I'm going to throw 100-yard passes."
No, it was like, I'm going to throw the ball. He's like, I'm going to shoot it from the low, but a 22-foot three won't do me justice. I'm going to pull up from 35 and let it be known. So let it be known, Skip.
Okay. You finished?
Yep.
You did not hear an amen from this side of the table. But I'm about to provide the benediction for this argument, because in the end, I would like to share some numbers with you. For LeBron's career from the logo, he has made 24%. That's actually, from the logo, pretty great. But that means it's a horrible shot that he's made far too few of. He's 38 of 157. So if you do the math, he's missed way, way, way too many logo threes, because it's a hard shot that doesn't benefit the team. It only benefits the mystique of one LeBron James.
Now it deflates the opposing team, like the one he hit on the Pelicans.
Yeah, well, when he's missing that many of them, it doesn't deflate anybody except the Cavaliers. In his first 3 years in the league, when he was inventing the logo three, guess what he was? From the logo, he was 0 for his first 18 in the NBA. 0 for 18. So he's just jacking them up from ridiculously long range, and he's hitting nothing. He is 0 for his first 18, and it's hurting nothing but the Cavaliers, not the opposition.
And let that sink in. He started 0-18, then all of a sudden something happened.
Yeah, I guess so. In his first 7 seasons, that first run in Cleveland, he wound up shooting 15%, 8 of 52 in his first 7 years in the league. So he started to hit a few of them, but only a few of them. And the highlights only remind you of the few, the very few that he hit. So these are nothing but for show, as in showing off. The only purpose of these is to enhance the image, to polish the mystique of one LeBron James. You know this, and I know this.
Skip, we didn't say they're a high percentage shot, but people are pretending that Steph and Dame created this, and all they're saying is that LeBron was shooting this shot before then.
Okay, I'll give you this. He was the first to try this shot.
And he made it. And that's what they call it. You remember the Hunger Games? That's what they call it. When you shoot that at the Hunger Game, catch fire.
The Hunger Games?
Bam! Yeah. You see that? Look at the way he pulling up from.
The Hunger Games, he was killing his own team.
They all look... His arms, look at this way he pulling up from.
Pretty.
Look at this, Skip.
Is this part of the 8 for 52 that he was making his first time in Cleveland?
You're a hater, too.
And I will say this, to your point, that logo is barely, it's almost touching the three-point line. But I'll give you that. He was still 0 for 18. So, for LeBron's career, from 3, he is 34.5%. I got to tell you, for a player of that magnitude, that is horrible.
That's great.
I'm great?
Yeah.
Steph is career 43.3. Do you realize how much more that is?
Yeah, let me ask you a question. If you don't mind me asking, since you got stats over there, can you tell me what Michael Jordan...
Truth over here.
Okay, what is Michael Jordan and Kobe?
I don't care.
From the three.
I just don't care. They did not emphasize the three.
But when they did emphasize it, what was their percentage?
This guy emphasizes it. He shoots it like crazy.
I just asked him.
He shot the most of his career last year for the Lakers. It's like, because it's the fastest way to catch Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Since I started off, and let me give you a little devotional right here.
Okay.
Well, Kobe Bryant and LeBron and Michael Jordan have a lower three-point percentage than one GOAT James.
Okay. From the free throw line, it's a much easier shot than the logo shot. He is 73% for his career, and for the last 5 years, he's been under 70%. That is embarrassing for a player of this magnitude. So don't give me logos when there's a shot that's about half the length of that one that is free. It's called a free throw, and you get to stand there unguarded by yourself with your hands going like this.
Yes, sir. Think about that, Skip. Even with all the free throws missed, even with all the free throws, even the poor three-point percentage, the guy got the third most points in NBA history.
It's called longevity.
Hold on.
Yep.
Whoa.
It's called durability until this past.
So let me ask you a question. So is that what you said about Tom Brady? All these records? Is it because of durability, or is he good?
I don't talk about Tom's records. I just talk about the Super Bowls. I don't care about him passing Drew Brees.
No.
Although he's on course to pass Drew Brees for the all-time yardage at Foxborough in Game 4.
So hold on. Is it because of the longevity, or is he great? Because you make it seem like LeBron James isn't great. The only reason he's doing all this is because he's played a long time.
Okay, but one guy's 7-3 in Super Bowls, the other guy's 4-6 in the NBA Finals.
Is he undefeated? See, because the argument is you tell me.
I just made the case earlier to you that Belichick cost him 2 of those 3. Cost him. The defense didn't show up.
They showed up. If I hold a team to 17 points, I've shown up. You didn't show up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you did exactly what you always do, which is a game-winning drive.
Look at AD. I know this man ain't shooting this ball from here.
Oh, yeah.
He did that.
Yeah, he did that against Denver that saved you in the bubble. That's with AD shot. They're for show, and they look great, and you can string them together in a highlight video, and you say, oh, he's the GOAT.
No, nobody said that. Nobody said that. That's not what Isaiah said. Isaiah said, let it be known
that he shot 24% from the logo in his career. 24%. That's horrible.
Skip.
That means not a good shot.
Let it be. Of course not. The logo shot is not a good shot for anyone.
Well, for Steph,
What's Steph shooting from the logo?
I don't know.
He ain't shooting 40%.
No, but I'll bet it's 35%.
No, it ain't
good enough.
But anyway, Skip, all AD is saying, all Isaiah is saying is that let it be known that someone did something before someone else.
Well, Isaiah's trying to make the point that he invented it. And remember, Isaiah's agenda is...
Oh, there you go. I knew you were going to say that.
Isaiah just doesn't like Michael. I don't know why.
What does it got to do with Michael? Michael can never shoot the ball from the logo.
Because Michael is the runaway, unquestioned GOAT, and Isaiah just rankles him. It just rubs him the wrong way. So he's trying to make a GOAT case for LeBron from the logo, and it's a horrible case.
I mean, think about this here. Isaiah got winning records. Isaiah had to play against Dr. J, Kareem, Magic, Bird, Mike, and he got winning records. He got winning records.
I love Isaiah.
No, you don't. No,
I do love him.
We got to move on and talk some Tom Brady, because did he just get snubbed heading into the season?
No, big snub, and here we go.
No.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy, and I won't back down.
The Fox Bet Sportsbook currently gives Tom Brady the 4th best odds to win MVP, but a recent panel of NFL experts was asked to rank the top players heading into the season based on their potential for 2021. And TB12 came in 20th on that list. Now, this look-ahead list is in stark contrast to the NFL Network's top 100 list that looked back on the previous season where Brady was ranked 7th. So, Skip, I'm sure you have a problem with this.
Yeah. You got a problem with this?
I got to buckle my seatbelt here so I stay in my chair. This is absurd. This is preposterous. This is laughable. And this is straight Brady hate. That's all it can be, because You're telling me that a man that I believe is going to win the MVP this year, we're projecting, we're not looking back.
Right.
You can argue looking back,
Right.
but looking ahead, I'm saying he's at least a high candidate for MVP. I believe he's going to win it. I believe he's going to throw 50 touchdown passes because he's got that kind of weaponry. He's got that kind of protection. He's got that kind of coaching staff. He's got it all. And at 44, he got his knee fixed. He did it last year on a torn MCL. Whether you buy that or not, I believe it when he says that. And he did have surgery, and he does look like he's moving at 100%, and the arm looks hotter and more velocity than I've seen it in the last 2 or 3 years. And the point is, they are projecting him, even in this 20th ranking, as 36 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Well, they got Mahomes at the top, and they're projecting him 37 and 10. Well, it's like neck and neck, and you're saying he's the
one guy's 1 and the other guy's 20th.
Well, 20th? And I'm saying, now wait a second. On pure value, and you hate that word, but I'm talking about most valuable player. Are you telling me that Aaron Donald's going to have a better season than Tom Brady and be more valuable? And then we start going down the list, and it goes Tyreek, T.J. Watt, Jalen Ramsey, Devontae, Josh Allen, Kelsey, Myles Garrett, Dak Prescott, Trent Williams, Xavier Howard. Love them. These are all really good football players. But the Bosa's, Nick and Joey, DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs, Kittles. It's like those are all ranked above Tom Brady. I give you Mahomes and Rodgers at the top. That's debatable going forward. They're probably going to have good to great years. Brady's going to have a great year, I believe, and he's 20th. I can only say that's just straight Brady hate.
Skip, I can't say I disagree with you. I can't disagree with anything you say other than the fact that being the MVP. But I can't see 19 players having a better season than Tom Brady. He has a good offensive line. He has a great receiving core. His defense is one of the top 3 or 4 defenses in all of football. And you're telling me, with all of that, he's only going to be have the 20th best seasons of all the players. Stop. That's ridiculous.
Really? You're giving Brady a little love?
Ain't no little love, Skip. Like I said, I believe Brady's a top 3 quarterback. Mahomes, Rodgers, I believe, okay, fine. But you got Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, and you named all the other guys going to have better seasons. So is somebody about to have 24 sacks? Is somebody about to have 13, 14 interceptions? Because that's what it's going to take. The quarterback job, the stats are so skewed for the quarterback to have success, Skip. First of all, he gets 5 protectors on every play. You can't hit him. And so now the rules, you can't beat up the receivers. So it's set up for him to have big seasons. And you added an extra game. So I don't believe there's going to be 19 players that have a better season than Tom Brady. Can I see Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers possibly have a better season? If you want to say Josh Allen's going to play better than what he played last year, okay. But 17 more, 15 more guys?
Could Dak put up numbers? Yeah, Dak could. And will Dak be in the MVP conversation? He could be.
But see, Tom's going to be in the MVP conversation, Skip, because I believe his team's going to win enough games. The question is, putting up stats and your team's not winning games,
Agreed.
What good is that?
Agreed, because I'm not going farther than winning the NFC least for the Cowboys.
Skip, think about how many times Drew Brees threw for 5,000 yards, and his name didn't even get mentioned in the MVP, because they weren't winning no games. They winning 7 games. You're not winning no MVP winning 7 games. So for me, when I saw this, and I made a little light of it a couple of days ago, Skip, when I first saw it, I'm like, hold on. Because I was looking, I was like, okay, I see Mahomes, Rodgers, and I was looking, I was like, well, dang, where's Brady? I know Brady's in the top 10.
There's Dak.
And I kept going down, I was like, hold on, 20th? Nah, I can't even get down with that one, Skip. Hey, you know what? You know how I am. I can't even get down with that. Okay. Ain't no way 19 people going to have a better season than Tom Brady.
Bottom line, greatest thing that has happened so far this year to Tom Brady is this ranking, because this will fuel his fire.
Tom Brady
he wants to get even with you and shut you up.
What would I do? I'm just sitting over here.
Disrespecting him.
How?
You do every other thing that comes out of your mouth is some shot at Tom Brady.
No, I say Tom was really good.
Gotta love the added motivation for Tom Brady. But we're moving on because Jalen Hurts is officially the Eagles starter. But is he the long-term answer?
They really went on a limb with that one.
That's next.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy, and I won't back down.
The Eagles have officially named Jalen Hurts their starting quarterback heading into week 1 against the Falcons on Fox. Hurts started down the stretch for Philly last year. And even though the team brought in Joe Flacco this summer and Gardner Minshew just this past week, the starting gig will stick with the second-year signal caller. So Shannon, is Hurts the Eagles' future?
I don't believe he is, and it doesn't seem like they believe he is either, Skip, because this is what we know. If Jalen Hurts does not have tremendous success this year, they're going to get a new quarterback next year. And the problem is, you want to win games, but the question is, do you win too many games, Skip, and all of a sudden you hurt your draft position where you're not in position to get a quarterback? I just don't, look, I'm not sure they believe in him. I know, no, they don't believe in him. They do not believe in Jalen Hurts. They believe Jalen Hurts is going to be their quarterback for the next 5 to 10 years, to make a long story short. No.
Why do you think they just went and got Gardner Minshew?
Thank you.
Because they think maybe Gardner Minshew will be the answer sometime this year.
Right.
Maybe he's just waiting his time in the wings, and they're going to give Jalen a short leash, as you say, to prove himself.
Right.
He started to prove himself last year for a really bad football team. So you know how I feel. I believe in Jalen Hurts. He's Cam-esque to me with a little bit of Tebow thrown in, and I'm talking about the good Tebow, because Jalen is a late-game clutch playmaker.
Right.
QBR is never going to love him. He's not the most accurate thrower, a la Cam.
Right.
But he can make plays with arm and legs, key plays that win games, and I believe he will start winning games for a slightly improved football team. They did go get him that one weapon at Alabama, and that is the weapon that could turn him around.
They got... But, Skip, I mean, this could happen. This doesn't mean anything. Everybody has them picked to finish 4th in the NFC least. But when I look at this team, they got some weapons. They got Jalen Reagor 2 years ago. They got Devontae Smith. I like the Kez Watkins kid. They got the 2 tight ends with Ertz and Goddard. We'll see how long Ertz stays on the team. Miles Sanders, can he stay healthy? The offensive line, Skip, they've gotten older. They've gotten battered. Can they protect him? I just don't believe that he has enough around him to succeed. He had more, trust me, he had more talent in Alabama that he got on this offensively than he got right here.
Yeah, I agree. And plus, I fear for Jalen, he's going to be a victim of the dysfunction of this organization. Because they have a young, very young head coach who's never done this before.
Who came out of nowhere to get this job.
Nowhere. I don't know what they're doing, but it feels puppet-like to me, right?
Right.
It goes all the way to the top to Jeffrey Lurie, who I don't believe is sold on.
And then Howard Roseman is undercutting everybody to stay in good with Jeffrey Lurie. So
it doesn't feel right. I just believe Jalen can play, and I think he'll be able to overcome this mess.
Yeah, but I want him to go play somewhere else. I want him to get up out of Philly. Philly's just dysfunction.
Yeah.
Our guy Orlando Scandrick tried to tell us what was going on there. So the dysfunction is at an all-time high. And now you look back at it, you're like, you know what? I see why Wentz, and Wentz brought this on himself, but I can see why Wentz didn't succeed. The dysfunction that's going on there.
Well, that's it for us. We'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern.